Hi guys. So it's sunshiny. I got the future asparagus bed turned over. My asparagus plant. Let's move this. My aunt tried to stand herself up with it and it shattered. But look at how big these asparagus fronds are. And they're well, they're hard up to here now, so it's a little bit late. But so good. But so these are ready to get transplanted. Tomorrow's gonna be the last sunshiny day. I got all of this bed turned over. There was a lot of clay. It has a lot of compost, but my aunt doesn't add a lot of brown to her compost. It's mostly just garden waste and a little sprinkling of paper or sawdust, like the really fine stuff from people who are woodworkers type stuff. Anyway, and so it was pretty dense, and when I dug into it, it was pretty thick on the bottom and really wet. So getting it turned over is good, and then I can get this tub put into the asparagus bed. I dug out some old potato plants, lots of roots, and my goal for this bed is gonna be get my asparagus, got this tub, and I have some plants that I've bought, and then I have some random bulbs that I want to put in there. There's this container that I've had for a while. It's just like little crocusy looking things. I'm gonna put those in there, and then over here is a can you see that? Oh yeah, it's right here. Is the lilies that I've had in this container for 5-6 years. And then there's this container here that I'm gonna add in there. This had freesias in it, and I'm gonna add freesias to that bed too. So it's gonna be kind of a no-dig bed. Put in some bulbs, good for the pollinators, and the asparagus is like a stay there forever root. And then I think I'll be able to grow peas and beans in that bed also, which will benefit the other plants, help to mulch the soil in the fall, and since they're not a crop that you have to dig, they work pretty well with other plants that are perennial. Anyway, so some people think that doing asparagus and maybe strawberries would be good together, but strawberries don't like getting covered. They don't like getting mulched. So you can side dress a strawberry with mulch, but you have to be really careful not to cover the crown, otherwise they rot. Versus with asparagus, love getting mulch, compost, all sorts of stuff like that put on them every winter, and then they just grow up through it. Wild asparagus, I remember seeing a video where a guy dug a wild asparagus and it was, I don't know, like 24 inches deep. So they can handle a lot of mulch, which is good. And then you just add to the topsoil every year. Strawberries don't like that. You would think that since they're both perennials that they would go well together, but they don't. So anyway, so that's the goal. Tomorrow is going to be moving that. My aunt has a bench that she wants to move from one building to the front porch of another building. And so I might get wrangled into doing that also. So I've gathered up all my garden tools. They're all in one spot. I've got pretty much everything that I need to put in that bed. I've got some peas in this bag. I've got some asparagus plants, some peas, and some bush beans. So some sweet peas, snap peas, and some bush beans. They'll go good in there. And then I bought some bulbs the other day. Freesias. And I'll add that while I'm thinking of it. I'll put that down there. And that'll be my tomorrow thing to do. Kind of excited about it. You ever have those projects that are, you want to get them done, but it's like big and daunting and you just really don't want to even start them. But then once you start them, you're like, oh, that was no big deal. Cool. Now it's started, so let's just keep on working. If we weren't so short-staffed, I might even call in sick to work. But no. I put in for some leave vacation. So next month, I've got some vacation. My aunt and I are talking about going to the Oregon coast. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. Go to the Oregon coast. I think I'd mentioned that, but the days for that travel have moved around a bit. So, that's what's going on with that. But maybe we'll do it in May. March, April, May. Yeah, May 20th or so. And then I will maybe video some stuff down there. Maybe video with my dad. He's pretty cool. It's probably one of the few people that feels unjudgmental, if that makes sense. He's just glad I'm still alive. And he struggles with a lot of the same mental health stuff that I do. Which I think is a big reason why I can forgive him when my brother struggles too, and forgiving him for not being around. But I don't think my brother knows what it's like to be inside of our anxiety brains. My dad, I think he feels a lot of guilt for not having been around. I don't know, I haven't really talked to him about this, but I think that because how I would feel if I was him, guilt for not being around for your kids, and then that kind of compounds on itself. So like the more guilt you feel, the more paralyzed you are, which is like why my house never gets cleaned. And I'm pretty sure that that's a big part of what goes on in my dad's brain. A lot of the time. But anyway, not to put my feelings onto my dad's feelings. I can understand it from a level that I don't think my brother wants to try and understand it. Like, I don't know, my brother doesn't have a lot of patience for stuff like that. It is what it is. That's my brother surviving our childhood. You let people screw up once or twice, and then you quit letting them have chances. Versus me, I always try and figure out, well, they say that they mean this, so why don't they do the thing that they say that they mean to do? And then I try and figure out why. Instead of not, I don't know why it is. It is what it is. Alright, so it is coming up on 1:30. I am going to wash the remaining of my dishes, probably take a quick rinse because I've been out in the sun. I don't smell sweaty, but I feel a little bit sticky. I'll just do a quick rinse and then get dressed, head to work. I have my lunch pretty much packed. All I have to do is check it in my lunch bucket and head out the door. So, it's been sunshiny since last Thursday, so we've had a week of really nice weather. I've been outside almost every one of those days between mowing lawn and other random stuff like that, so I am starting to feel a lot better. I think the springtime winter blues takes its shift. It takes me about 4 days, which is good to know, until I start feeling like I have more energy, like I'm motivated to go outside. So that's good for me to know for when I have to make plans. And then these are all from the same batch of forks. They've all been bent. Well, one of them's been bent. Nope. I think none of them match each other anymore. Well, maybe those kind of do. I don't know. Whatever. It's weird how silverware does that. And so yeah, I do feel better. We're supposed to get start raining again on Friday, so this is like our last few days before the weather shifts back to yucky Pacific Northwest springtime gray and gross, which is not nice. That's the part that bugs me the worst about spring in the Pacific Northwest, is that you get like this glimmer of windows open and fresh air, and then bam, you're slammed with like 20 degrees temperature difference, rain. It's a lot darker when the clouds are out, obviously. But yeah, that's the part that sucks, is that you get these really nice glimmers and then it's like, yank, never mind, it's still springtime, enjoy this wetness. So that's part of why I want to get that asparagus bed set up and get the bulbs out there and get some peas in the ground. That way, that'll be just kind of chilling. I don't know how long our wet spell is going to last, but I do want that to be ready to go. At least one garden project will be done. And I talked to my aunt about that back garden, what she wants to save and what doesn't really matter to her. And yeah, so I can, I feel comfortable moving what I need to move so that I can cover what I want to cover. I did a lot of mowing, so there's a lot of grass clippings that I want to go out and gather and put down in the garden plots. That way there'll be a fresh new layer of stuff to compost before I put the black plastic down. And then we're like gearing up towards season 1, which is summer 1 of No Dig Garden Bed. I'm kind of excited. So we'll see how that works. We'll see if we can get my aunt to not dig. It's supposed to be my garden place. But I've talked to her about my goals back there, ways that I want to keep the weeds down with a water permeable weed barrier, and some goals with the raspberries back there. And she said, okay, well, if you want to do the work, go for it. So as long as she doesn't have to do the work and she doesn't have to ask my uncle to do the work, she's kind of down for it, especially if it starts looking a little better and is able to get in and harvest raspberries and things like that. So there we go. Yep, so that's the news from Lake Woolbegon, so to say. And yeah, it's a nice long video. Feeling a lot better in my brain. I feel like I've got a lot more energy. I don't feel like I'm relying on caffeine to get me moving, which means that my stomach feels better. I think that what was going on with my stomach is that I just wasn't putting enough food on it. And so whenever I did put food on it, it was like, hey, so what am I supposed to do with this? Which is good and bad. But I've also been doing, since the weather changed, making myself cook food for myself. I bought that bag of onions and the heads of garlic, so I've been pretty much every day I've been here at the stove, the 2-burner stove, frying up a half an onion and a couple cloves of garlic and adding things to it. The Brussels sprouts, I already cooked those up with some bacon and onion and garlic and mushrooms, and then when that got low, I added another one of those tubs of mushrooms that I got in my last grocery haul, and so it's like super mushroomy. Today's lunch is some leftover gluten-free pasta with a chicken boob and red sauce mixed with super mushroomy Brussels sprouts and onion and garlic, also mixed with some of that beef and beans stuff that I made a while back, black beans, lentils, and ground beef, and bacon fat, I think is what I used. And then I cooked the beans in broth, beef broth, chicken broth, whatever kind of broth there was. Sliced up some onions, added that to the top, sliced up some garlic, added that to the top. It's like 2.5 times liquid for the amount of beans there was. Bring it up to a solid boil for about 15 minutes. Turn it down to a simmer for ever. I kind of want to see about investing in a small pressure cooker. I've got a, I don't know, I think like a 5-quart pressure cooker. But I want to see about getting maybe a 2-quart pressure cooker. I think that would be good for doing the little batches of beans, so I'm not going, oh, there's more room. Let's make 4 months worth of food, and I don't want to eat the same thing for 4 months, if that makes sense. But anyway, so that's something I'm going to look into, smaller pressure cookers. Yeah, making lists, checking them twice, getting myself back onto checking in with morning routine, evening routine. I've been doing good with taking showers. I washed my hair on Monday before work, and I took a shower last night before I went to bed, a rinse off, because it was sweaty and gross in the school, not air conditioned. And then, so I don't know if that's a product of feeling better, or if that is adding to me feeling better. I don't know. Anyway, it's 1:30. I'm gonna go take a quick rinse, do these dishes things until it's time to go, dress, and head out the door. So, bye guys.